Welcome to today's tutorial. I'll be teaching you how to use the scientific calculator to convert a number from one base to the other. When you take any scientific calculator, there are four number-based systems that are programmed on the calculator. So we have the decimal system, which is the base 10, hexadecimal base 16, binary base 2, then octal base 8. So we are going to convert numbers from any of these to the other. For this demonstration, I'm using Casio FX 991ES Plus. To use any of these bases, we need to switch the mode of the calculator to number base. So you press mode, then from these options, 8 options here, you see the option 4, base n. That's the number base mode. So we'll press 4. Then by default, it takes us to base 10. Then I can work with any of these four number-based systems that is programmed on the calculator. So if I'm given a number in base 10, let's say I'm given 53 to convert to base 2. Now, there are two ways I can do this, or there are two ways that this can be done. And I'll explain both in this video. So, since I'm converting from base 10 to base 2, let's say, so I need to first of all make sure that I'm in the base 10 mode. Then I'll enter the base 10 number 53, press equal to. Then I'll shift it to base 2. So base 2, I press. So this 110101 base 2. Okay, so it's just as easy as that. So if I'm to change it to base 8, the octal, I just press 8. So that was the same thing in base 8, 6, 5, base 8. And the same if I'm to change it to hexadecimal base 16, it's just by pressing. So converting from one base to the other base is just as simple as this. First, if you switch to the number base mode, select the base in which you are entering the number, then press the equal to sign, and then you press the base that you are converting into. So we can only convert between this for numbers. Okay. Alright, so let's assume that I want to convert 100111 base 2. I want to convert this to base 10. Okay, right now I'm in hexadecimal mode. That's the base 16. So I need to switch to base 2. So I press base 2, then I'll enter my base 2 number 100111. Press the equal to sign. Now, then I'll switch to mode 10, the decimal. So this is 39 base 10. So I can switch it to base 16. I can switch it to octal. So it's just as easy as that. So that's just one way of converting one number to the other base on the scientific calculator. Alright, so the same way I can still perform any computations on this in this. I can do multiplication, addition, and the rest. So for example, I can add 10001 base 2 to another 10111 also in base 2. Now, so first I need to be in base 2. I'm already in base 2. Then I'll enter my number 10001 plus 10111. I press my answer. So I'll get 101,000 base 2. Just as easy as that. Just like the way we use the calculator to perform base 10 multiplication, addition, and subtraction. Okay. So I can convert my result to base 10, to hexadecimal, to octal. Just as easy as that. Alright. Now, one important thing about the base on the scientific calculator is that it doesn't work with decimals. It doesn't work with decimals. So for example, if I'm to convert this number in base 10, let's say 1.5. Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. So it works with whole number. So the same way, if I divide, let's say 4 divided by 3, I should get something like 1.333. But it's just 1. So it just gives you an integer value. Okay, so let's establish that. Alright, so that's just the first way of converting from one base to the other. Alright, now another way I can do this is that when you take a look at the calculator, this button 3, then on top of it is written base, kind of in a square bracket. Okay, meaning I can use this function when I'm in what? In base, in the number base mode. Alright, so we are in number base mode, so we can call the functions here and then we'll see what is there. So to call these functions, I'll press shift 3. Okay, then the first page gives me 6 options with AND, OR, XOR, XNOR, not, negative. We press the down button to go to the next page. Then on the next page, we have D, H, B, O. This stands for decimal, hexadecimal, binary, octal, respectively. So if I'm to convert 53 base 10 to base 2, 53 base 10 to base 2, so I want my result in base 2, so I can press the base 2 on the calculator, then call all the functions of number bases, then I press the down button to the next page, then my number that I'm going to enter is in base 10, which is decimal, so that is the first option, so I press 1, so I can enter my base 10 number here, press equal to, then it takes me straight to base 2, so 110101 base 2. Alright, so the same way, if I'm in base 10 and I want to convert a base 2 number to base 10, I can switch this one to base 10, then I go into the base mode, go to the next page. Now my number is in binary, so binary B is option 3, so I press 3, then I'll enter my binary number 100111, press equal to, then it gives me the base 10 number. So this is just how to work with number base on the scientific calculator. So the same way I can perform these computations in the binary mode. So I'll press shift 3, the next page, select binary, which is 3, then 10001 plus 10111, then equal to, it gives me an answer in decimal, so I can still switch in binary mode or whichever way I want to switch them to. So that's just the way we use the number based mode on the scientific calculator. So for the other options, the first page, the AND, XOR are also operations that are performed on binary numbers, and I'm not going to cover that in this tutorial. If you really want to know how to use these functions on number base, please let me know in the comment section below. So that'll be all for today's tutorial. If you find this video very useful to you, please consider subscribing to the channel, hit the like button, comment, share, so that you not miss any future uploads of such videos. And thank you for watching.